So therefore, what we are saying is that this program has been designed with you in mind. And we don't look at it as though what is there today is the end of it. This is a live process, and we are making changes as we go. And the only thing that we will not allow ourselves is to get stuck in the world of perfect, because perfect is the enemy of good. And we believe we have a good program. And we know it's a good program because the interest that we have received is so huge. We invited private landowners in this country. We have received 12,000 acres of good land. So land is not a problem. We've invited developers. We have got over 120 developers already pre-qualified in both Window 1 and Window 2. And so, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to digress from my written speech so that I can make just a few comments that I want to address, first of all, to you, the end user, and then address you, partners that want to come and participate in this program here in our country. I think, for those of you who've been following this affordable housing program, one of the things that is very sad is that we have gotten stuck on one narrative, and that narrative revolves around the mandatory contribution. And then it made this entire program look as though it was just based on this mandatory contribution. We are not married to any plan. We are ready, and we are a country and a government that listens. But the one thing that we don't want to do is to allow the status quo, is to allow the do nothing. That is not an option. But the one message that I hope that we get and we can pass over to our people out there is just how much this program has been designed with you, the end user, in mind. We don't get to talk about those things. And here is the sad part. You see, when we have in our tax laws a raft of incentives geared towards you as a potential home buyer, if you're not a home buyer, those incentives remain very good on paper, but they're useless. You know, for the last many years, we've had a mortgage relief. Up to 25%, I think, subject to about 3,750 a month. A relief. And you know the difference between a relief and a deduction? A relief reduces your actual tax expense. So those of you here who do good tax planning, if you're actually paying for a mortgage, it's good tax planning. But guess what? With 25,000 mortgages, what is the purpose of a mortgage relief? It's not useful. So there's something, and that is the elephant in the room. I've been talking to employers. Some of our financial institutions have got, is sitting with about 66 employers that have put what is called cash-backed schemes for housing, including myself. I am the custodian of the civil servants and state officers mortgage scheme. I've got about 5 billion shillings right now that is not spent with the 2 commercial banks. And what is the problem? The problem is on the supply side. The uptake for these cash-backed schemes is less than 10%. So guess what? These banks are sitting with tens of billions of shillings now that can be deployed to provide homes, but you cannot find an affordable home. On the tax side, this last year we put in stamp duty is exempt now for first-time homeowners. But guess what? For as long as you're not a homeowner, that remains good on paper, but it does not help you. Same year, last year, we doubled our home ownership savings plan, HOSP, which is in Section 22 of our Income Tax Act. We doubled it from 4,000 to 8,000 a month. But guess what? If you're not saving towards your home, that home ownership savings plans mean nothing. Last year, cognizant of the fact that majority of the people that we are addressing in this affordable housing program are people who are living from hand to mouth, and that any tax or any contribution that touches on their take home is going to hurt them the most. Before we introduced any mandatory contribution, we introduced an affordable housing relief. And let me tell you something. The affordable housing relief is 15% of your gross, subject to 9,000 a month or 108,000 a year. The contribution is 1.5%. Do the math. As a matter of fact, if you're now saving towards your house and claiming the relief, your payslip looks better than the person who is not. But these are things we don't talk about. Why? Because we've allowed a few noisemakers on Twitter and a few people that have got tens or whatever of houses to dominate the conversation. And this is what we need to take them on head on. We must not be afraid to address the issue of the supply, because that is where the problem lies. And most of you are developers here. And I'm going to ask you a question. We have halved your corporate tax. From this year, the cost of energy for those in the manufacturing sector, the tariffs are coming down. You saw what was proposed in the finance budget last week or the week before last by the CS for finance. Why are you not building? Why are you not building? The reason why you're not building, and I've spoken to most of you, is because the people who are funding you, the investors who are putting money behind you, they need a clear exit strategy. Without a clear exit strategy, and with all these non-performing loans, and actually when you look at all the non-performing loans in our financial institution, the real estate is the highest. So good luck if you're a developer and you're going to go out there to a commercial bank and borrow some money and tell them that you want to build for people earning $500 a month. That is not going to happen. And that is why this program, and if there is anything that you miss today, don't miss this point. This is not about government getting involved in a space where we are not best placed to do. No. It's not about government building houses where we have done a very poor job. We have. This is about enabling you, the financier, the developer, to give you the tools to be able to put up this affordable housing. That is what is at the heart of this program. And so don't go on Twitter to try and get the information of about affordable housing program. Download the documents. Go to www.bomayangu.go.ke, and that is where all the repository of all these program is. And I think those that have done so, they become very aggressive. So in the coming months, here is the good news. We're going to be launching Starehe. We're going to be launching Shauri Moyo. This is going to be all in the first quarter of the next financial year, which starts next week. We've got 140,000 housing new city that we are master planning that is coming up. We signed with the UNOPS in UK, in New York, together with their strategic partners to do 100,000 homes. That was an MOU. I'm not always excited about MOUs because sometimes MOUs are, like a love letter. It says, I like you very much and you like me and we shall like each other and we shall continue. But it does not say anything. But now we've moved from liking each other into committing. We're no longer dating. So there's 100,000 houses. They've already raised the money. We have identified some of the land where they're going to start deploying these projects. We've got a brand new city that is coming near the airport. Private land, 1,000 acres of private land that is going to be unlocked. We've got Homa Bay, beautiful piece of land, 2,000 units coming up, all going to be signed in the first quarter. Kisumu and Migori and Kirinyaga and Kisii, these are all counties that have already submitted the land. Therefore, mine is to encourage you. Be part of history making. The grounds are set. Don't wait for the perfect condition. For there's nothing that is perfect out there. And we, as I said, we will continue making whatever changes we have to make affordable housing a dream come true. We have quantified, we have stripped the house into the bare components. So I know how much cement I need. I need 44 million bags of cement. When we are having these Twitter wars and conversation, are we having the right kind of conversation? The right kind of conversation that we should be having as Kenyans, and we do have cement factories here. The question is, are we in a position to supply this cement locally? I need 18 million bars of steel. We have got steel companies here. The question is, how much of the 18 million bars of steel can be made here locally? I need 5 million kgs of nails. Hey, Musumari, we don't need to import nails. Are we having the right kind of conversation? The other day, we had a nominated supplier, a group of Juakali people, informal traders, making doors for our flagship project here in Park Road. 8,500 doors, 122 million directly to people who otherwise will never get those kind of opportunities. Are we having the right kind of conversation? Affordable housing, I submit to you, it's not just about dignifying our people, which is very important because that is what the authors of our Constitution envisioned in Article 43, 1B. That everyone has a right to decent and affordable home with adequate housing and water and sanitation. That is what is in the Constitution, and that is your right, by the way. But we can dignify our people while stimulating our economy. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have, in the next 2 days, let's not tap dancing now. Let's get into serious conversation. And I hope Kumar and the chairman, that I have promised that I'll be back tomorrow, because today I've got other assignments, and I'll be back tomorrow. And I want to sit here and I'm going to take your questions and I want to engage with you, because I want us to make sure that when we leave here, we are very clear, we have clarity of mind what this program means. And as a country, the opportunities are not just here in Kenya. Can you imagine if we only perfected the art of doing doors, and Kenya is known in the entire continent as a place where good doors are made? How many doors, Mr. Chimponda, do we need for 52 million houses across the continent? Are we having the right kind of conversations? The number of youths that we are going to employ. We're talking about manufacturing as one of the big four agenda. Our own economic model shows that for every one house, we are going to have at least 3 new direct jobs that are going to be created. So when we are stuck on the 1.5%, are we having the right conversation? So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go beyond what I've said. I have promised that I'm going to be back tomorrow. Maybe during lunchtime today or tomorrow, those of you who would like to visit our site in Park Road. Why am I so proud of Park Road? As a matter of fact, Park Road is the smallest of all the schemes that we have so far. Park Road, we handed over the site to the developers in February. Construction started in April. The first set of 228 units will be completed by September. We are running 3 shifts in Park Road. And that is the kind of excellence that we are talking about. And that is what we need to embrace. So I am through the housing secretary who's here. If you need Mr. Kumar to have our guests visit Park Road and see what it is that we are talking about, we're very happy to facilitate that. So without any more ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and pleasure now to declare this summit open and wish you all interactive and fruitful deliberations going forward. Thank you so much, and God bless you.